And I'd spoken to a couple of friends. And I'm in college at this point. And I have a couple of friends who we all like Star Wars. We all talk about it. And again, one of my closest friends, he was excited for it. He got a part spoiled for him a day or two before he went to see it, which is unfortunate for him. But he was still excited. He went and saw it, and then he texted me after. It was around Christmas time that got released, and we were going home. I think the next day, and I was at a party, and I think he went to see it with a couple of friends, and I had the opportunity to go see it, and I didn't take it up, and I'm still to this day kicking about it. So, if you're listening, you know who you are. You finally heard me admit it. But he texted me as soon as he left the theater saying it was good, it was enjoyable, and I kind of went like I took that as okay, I can go watch this. So I never got around to watching The Force Awakens in cinema. I streamed it online during the winter break. Unfortunately, it was it was an okay-ish cam copy, but and I didn't mind it. It was actually I finished the movie pleasantly surprised and kind of feeling this relief nearly. I was kind of like, okay, this wasn't too bad. And then when I think it was when it came out online properly or on DVD release, I watched it again in a better quality, and the same feeling happened again. It was nice to see these characters come back, like Han and Leia, and these new characters. They were fine. I liked Finn. Rey was okay. Poe wasn't a character, so I was kind of but then at the same time, the characters did nothing bad. The characters did nothing amazing either. But it was the highlight of the new trilogy, and everyone loves him. Kylo Ren. I was more engaged by this character storyline because it just a Sith trying to be pulled back to the light it's such a great concept. And I was kind of thinking, shouldn't he be the main focus of this trilogy? And I was glad to see that he does become that. But anyway, with these new characters, I felt safe watching it. If safe is the right word. It's because J.J. Abrams did this kind of nostalgia bait with this film, and basically he kind of it's basically an entire segment of do you remember this, do you remember that of the original trilogy. And after the prequels, everyone needed a breath of fresh air and kind of remembering this is what Star Wars is like, and a load of that nostalgia was good. And I think to this day that I still have the same feeling. I've watched The Force Awakens a couple of times now, and every time I don't hate it more and I don't like it more. It's fine. It's a fine movie. It's safe. It's a little bit, you hear the complaints of like, oh my god, it's too much like A New Hope or whatever, but look, I'll take it. Cut then to oh yeah, we got the films. So yeah, I just watched one today actually. Disney takes up this new trilogy, and they announced this new trilogy, but the worrying part was they say that it's not fully planned. J.J. Abrams was originally going to do the whole trilogy, then he drops out after the first one, and we hear this Rian Johnson fella's doing it. I had seen Looper at this point, and I liked it, so I was kind of like, yeah, it's fine, cool. Didn't think too much about it. And then they also announced that they were going to do another follow-up to Clone Wars. I got excited about that. Star Wars Rebels. Watched it. It's extremely kid-friendly, and it's a bit of a letdown, especially if you're coming down from the Clone Wars series. Some stuff about it is nice, but overall it's very disappointing, but it's good for a younger audience, so that's fine. And then they also announced that they're going to be doing these spin-off films. So me and my friend were kind of like, okay, that's interesting. And the first one they announced is Rogue One. So we're going to go back to the original trilogy. We're going to find out how the rebels stole the Death Star plans. And I was excited for it. I was kind of like, okay, they're going back to the original trilogy. Well, that's fine. They're going back to part of the storyline we haven't seen, but it's in one of the video games. If you play Rise of the Empire in Battlefront 2, it's like near the end of that segment. And you can also, I think you can actually play as the Rebellion dude catching the plants. But anyway, so I was kind of like, okay, they're doing a whole film based around it. Is that enough? Then saw the film, and I liked it when I first saw it. And I think it had the same factor as the Force Awakens, where it was basically, do you remember this? Do you remember that from Star Wars? Oh, look, it's all these things. And it was nice. It was comfortable. The characters in it were, if you can call them characters, because, yeah, they're not really. They're very, very two-dimensional. They're enjoyable for if you just kind of want to switch your mind off and just watch a Star Wars film. It's okay. It's a weird one because it's not a bad film because there is cool stuff in it. And I think that's the problem with Star Wars is that overall, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, overall, at the end of the day, this is a story about space wizards fighting each other in space with lasers. There is some themes behind it, but there isn't a whole pile. It's very cookie cutter. So with Rogue One, it's kind of the same with that. It's very face value. It's just it's a war story. We're going to get some plans, and that is it. You will not be getting attached to these characters, so just know that they're on the good guy's side, and that's it. So, yeah, Rogue One is something I don't really rewatch a lot. And I was a little bit disappointed after it, and this is where the negativity starts creeping in. So I had my doubts about Force Awakens, and I was left quite satisfied with it. And then with Rogue One, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, this is a little bit worrying. This could have been easily shortened down. Didn't need a cinematic release. If you know what, it could have been a really cool animated 3-parter or something special that they release. Speaking of special, we're not talking about the holiday special and all this. Fuck that. So with Rogue One, it was it's fine. It's fine. And then that was 2016, I think that came out, or at the end of 2015. Yeah, but then we had to wait another 2 years for another Star Wars film. So flash forward to my final year of college, and I had spent about a year theorizing with my friend again. We were both avid Star Wars fans, and we were watching this channel on YouTube called Star Wars Theory all the time, and it was building up all this stuff. It's like, what? Where are they going to go with this? Because at the end of The Force Awakens, it does leave that opening where, oh wow, what are they going to do? There's these new bad guys, and yeah, they're telling a very similar story to the original trilogy, but like they're promising new stuff. And we have these new interesting bad guys, and we have these leads that we don't know too much about, but there's that whole mystery to them that, like the idea of a stormtrooper abandoning the Empire and joining the good guys that's a great character. And then the last 2 films of this trilogy happen, and they completely fuck it up. Yeah, The Last Jedi. It's the most divisive film you'll ever see and hear about, and I'm sure in 2020 everyone is fucking sick about this film. So I'll try and be as quick as I can with this film. So from my experiences was we were reading up about Star Wars theory and watching videos and just having very late night discussions leading on to like 3 a.m. right before we have a 9 a.m. class for college. Just talking non-stop about Star Wars. We were excited. We were big fans, and it was nice. And we did the whole marathon of watching all the Star Wars films beforehand. And then the day happens. We booked our tickets, and we went to see it in a group opening night. And we were being so careful with spoilers. Now I understand my friend was extra careful after having Han's death from Force Awakens, getting spoiled from him like the day before, 2 days before we went to see it. So we were incredibly lucky that nothing got spoiled for us. And then we went to the cinema and we watched the film. And at the time when I saw it, I'm speaking from experience now, but I'm not sure about my friend how exactly he feels about it anymore. And I didn't mind it. I was enjoying it, and I was blown away by the end of it. They showed a. Okay, I'm just gonna go right into it. Rey and Kylo team up to take down Snoke's guards, whatever, and they kill Snoke. And it's just like, oh my god, this is just what the fuck are they doing? The good guy and the bad guy are teaming up to take down this other super evil bad guy, and we're only in the middle part of this trilogy. What's happening? Is he going to team up with a rebellion? Is she going to team up with the new bad guys? And are they going to just start off and branch off the new thing? And then no, it's just this standard. Oh, I'm actually super evil and kill this other guy. And it's. I remember being so disappointed, and it was just a wave of emotions when I went to see that film, because there's this excitement and hype, and like you've waited so long for this film to come out, and then they're telling the story, and they were touching about some really really interesting themes in that film. I still don't know how I feel 4 years later after about The Last Jedi, or I suppose 3 years later, but I still don't know how I feel about this film, because they have some really interesting themes. I was actually enjoying where they were taking some of the characters, but they don't really. But there's a lot of twists and turns that are kind of pointless. There's a lot of filler, and it's also spewed one of the most annoying arguments on the planet for years, and it's kind of unleashed this toxicity about this fan base. And maybe this toxicity was always there. Nerd culture has gone on a weird path the past couple of years. And this isn't just with Star Wars. This is, like, Star Wars is probably the most evident of the whole lot. But yeah, it's just, this movie really did kind of subvert your expectations, which is what Rian Johnson wanted to do. So I don't know. We left that film. We all did enjoy it after we saw it. We all thought it was great. We all thought it was fun. Whatever theories we had going there, pretty much all of them were thrown out the window. And I was kind of fine with that, because I like being surprised, especially with films. I understand about nerds with fans with anything. You like that comfort, and you like that comfort feeling. And I was kind of getting to the point, though, that I wanted my expectations subverted. So, I mean, fair play to Rian Johnson for doing that. Because after The Force Awakens, and I had that comfort feeling, I was kind of like, do something daring with this trilogy. You could do anything with it. And whatever they touched upon it was alright. It was a stepping stone. But as the months went on, we started falling out of love with Star Wars. And there was another release that came out, I think it was later that year, Solo: A Star Wars Story. And from whatever movie news that we've been following on social media, nothing good had come out of it. Like, the movie hadn't been released yet, but they were saying, like, the lead actor had to take acting lessons, and the screenwriters were left, and they had to change their director, and it was postponed, and there was just one thing after the other, and we were kind of like, after The Last Jedi, and when we had kind of simmered down after Christmas, and we had watched a lot of fan reactions and theories and stuff, and taking time to kind of think about this new film, we weren't exactly the most excited for this new film, and we were kind of like, it's another spin-off. Rogue One was kind of okay, nothing amazing. I might just wait until it's on DVD and then I'll watch it. I'm not really going to bust my balls trying to get into the cinema to go see it. And I didn't. We did. None of us did. And I'm actually so let down, because Solo, I'd watched it today again. I've only watched it 3.5 times. The half is I fell asleep halfway through at one Christmas.